By spring 1942, Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union had stalled outside Moscow, and the brutal winter had crippled the Wehrmacht. Germany's greatest weakness was now clear oil. Its reserves were running dry, and synthetic fuel production couldn't keep up. Hitler's solution lay in the south, the oil-rich Caucasus, especially Maikop, Grozny and Baku. Capturing these fields would fuel the German war machine and cripple the Soviets. The failure to take Moscow proved the Red Army was far from defeated, but Hitler believed one more blow could end Soviet resistance. Ignoring his general's warnings about overstretch, Hitler shifted focus south, launching Operation Blau. The plan split Army Group South into two powerful thrusts, aiming for the oil fields and the open steppes, ideal for blitzkrieg. Hitler gambled everything on this high-risk, high-reward campaign. The Germans believed a swift, concentrated attack would break Soviet defenses and win the war in the east. The vast southern steppes beckoned, promising speed and victory, but the gamble would set the stage for one of history's most brutal battles. The fate of the Eastern Front now hinged on the outcome in the south. Operation Blau split Army Group South into two: Army Group A, tasked with seizing the Caucasus oil fields, and Army Group B, securing the northern flank along the Don River. Army Group A, packed with elite panzer divisions, drove for Maikop, Grozny and Baku, the heart of Soviet oil production. Army Group B's job was to protect the advance and secure key points like Stalingrad, initially just a strategic waypoint. On paper, it was a classic pincer movement. One force grabs the oil, the other shields the flank. But Hitler's constant meddling, shifting divisions and changing objectives, soon sowed confusion and weakened both thrusts. The stage was set for disaster as the Germans advanced deeper into Soviet territory. Operation Blau began with rapid German victories. Cities fell, Soviet lines collapsed, and the panzers surged across the steppe. Army Group A reached Maikop, only to find the oil fields destroyed by retreating Soviets. As the Germans pushed deeper, Hitler made a fateful decision. He diverted the 4th Panzer Army north to help capture Stalingrad, weakening the drive for Baku. Stalingrad, once a secondary target, became the main prize, a matter of prestige for both Hitler and Stalin. The city was bombed to rubble, and German troops fought their way in, expecting quick victory. But the ruins became a fortress for Soviet defenders, turning the battle into a brutal, close-quarters struggle. The fight for the steppes was over. Now began the infamous Rat War in Stalingrad's ruins. The campaign's focus had shifted, and with it, the fate of the entire operation. The vast distances of southern Russia stretched German supply lines to the breaking point. Fuel, food, and ammunition ran dangerously low. Soviet partisans sabotaged railways and convoys, compounding the chaos. In Stalingrad, the Red Army's "not one step back" order turned every ruin into a fortress. German tanks were useless in the rubble. As winter set in, the Germans faced freezing temperatures, inadequate clothing, and failing equipment. Frostbite and hunger claimed thousands, while the Soviets ferried fresh troops and supplies across the Volga. The Germans bled their elite 6th Army dry, while the Soviets quietly massed reserves on the flanks. The German advance stalled, and the Red Army prepared for a decisive counterattack. The tide was about to turn. On November 19, 1942, the Soviets launched Operation Uranus, a massive double pincer that smashed through the weakly held flanks of the German 6th Army. Within days, nearly 300,000 Axis troops were encircled at Stalingrad, cut off from supplies. Hitler refused to allow a breakout, promising the Luftwaffe would resupply the pocket, but the airlift failed. A relief attempt under von Manstein came close but was halted. Paulus, obeying orders, would not break out. By late January, the trapped Germans faced starvation and relentless Soviet attacks. On February 2, 1943, the last remnants surrendered. Of 300,000, only 91,000 survived to be taken prisoner. The defeat at Stalingrad marked a turning point. Germany's hopes in the east were shattered. Operation Blau ended in disaster, and the Red Army was now on the offensive.